Hey everyone, I want to talk about falling in love for the first time ever. I'm 45 years old, almost 46, and I have never been in love before. I've had a few, I'm going to call them teaching relationships, very painful. I was in those relationships simply to help me learn about myself, to learn about what I want, what I don't want. Those relationships were really harsh because I was waiting for one particular person to come. I didn't know who it was, but he's in my life now, and wow. About 2 years ago now, I was out walking, I think it was, on this property at nighttime, and I stopped and I was talking to Great Mystery, and I felt someone beside me, and he wrapped his arms around me. He was tall, very strong. But it was the characteristics of this being that just made me go, wow. I instantly felt safe and secure. I felt protected. I felt cared for. I felt cherished. I felt loved in a way that I had never, ever felt before in my entire life. And I called this spirit guide the Viking, because he just seemed like he was just ready to go into battle, and he just embodied everything about the divine masculine. He embodied everything that I was looking for in a partner, in a mate, in a companion, in a lover. If I could have gone poof and made the absolute perfect partner, I would have changed the spirit guide Viking into like human form. Do you know what I mean? So at that time I thought that the Viking was just a spirit guide, and I had a couple of others. Didn't know a whole lot about that sort of thing, but he came every once in a while. Very quickly though, I realized that the Viking was actually the higher self of, I didn't know if he was my soulmate. I don't know a whole lot about these things either, right? But I knew that the Viking was the higher self of the man that I was waiting for. And I didn't know how I would know who he was. I was waiting. I felt incredibly desperate. And there were a couple of other really short-term relationships in the meantime. And it became very quickly obvious that that's not the Viking, because it's just another teaching relationship. Because they're not loving me. They're not treating me like a goddess. I don't feel safe and secure with them. It's just strictly a teaching relationship. And so I learned what I needed to learn, let go of them, and kept on waiting. And then Short Paul came into my life. He sat around the campfire with me when I would do lives last fall, and he would chat up a storm, and was like warm and friendly. And one day, or one evening around the fire, he said, "Hey, I'm a poet. Give me a word and I'll write a poem for us who were sitting there." And we had been talking about how we were all a bunch of misfits sitting around the fire that evening. So it's like, write a poem, or I said the word is misfits. I asked him to email me so that I would have his email address and I could get in contact with him. And then my life kind of fell apart and I had to move, so I just had to put that on hold probably for a couple of months. And then when I had moved and kind of settled in, I contacted him, and he was always on my mind. It's like, oh, he is someone that I really, really want to talk to. You know, he had shared a little bit about his story, and I thought that I wanted to talk to him because I was looking for people to share their stories on the channel at that time, and it seemed powerful, you know. And he said, I have worked through all my stuff. You know, I've had these tragedies and I've worked through all my stuff, and I love talking to people like that. Haven't actually met maybe any. They say they have, but then actually they haven't. So just curious to talk to him. And so one day I emailed him back, and I think the next day we arranged a Zoom call. And then like 2 days later I looked him in the eyes and I said, what is this, short Paul? And I said, or like the conversation went something along the lines of, you know, I'm really interested in this and you, but I'm waiting for someone specific, and I don't know who it is, but his name is the Viking. And I don't talk a whole lot about that to anyone except for a couple of really, really close friends and a couple of family members, because it sounds craziness, right? Like I'm waiting for someone called the Viking, and he's been coming to me for 2 years, and you know, he's the higher self of the partner that I'm calling in, and this man is going to be a potent healer, and he's going to be secure and stable, and we are going to absolutely move mountains together. We are going to be like a power couple. It's really odd to talk so assuredly about that sort of thing, and at the same time cry in desperation because I'm so lonely and I can't get my chainsaw started and I'm losing faith and trust, and it's like, holy shit, man, just the whole range of emotions. So I pretty much kept it a lot to myself because it's pretty wild. So I'm telling him, you know, I'm waiting for someone, and his name is the Viking, and I don't know who he is. he laughed a little and he said, okay, just keep on talking, but I have something to show you. So I finished my spiel, being very, very open and vulnerable. And then he says, okay, got something to show you. So he pulls up his arm sleeve, and on one arm he has a tattoo of a Viking face, and the Viking's beard is in some sort of knot. And then on the other shoulder, he has a Viking bowed down in humility, offering out a sword, like a peaceful offering. And like, it didn't hit me. I think I kind of just said, oh, okay. And then I went to bed that night. And as I'm drifting off to sleep, Great Mystery is like pounding on my head. Hello? Hello, hello? Is anybody there? Like, come on, let's connect the dots. And I'm like, holy shit, man, I just met the Viking. I was worried about how I'd know who this man was, because I got the sense that he would not be from the area, that we might be staying in the area, but he would be traveling through or something like that, right? So it's like, how am I going to know? Well, if that's not a sign, then I don't know. Very quickly after that, we started talking about him coming to visit, and he bought tickets, and he came on, it's February, he left February 12th, I think. So he was here January, I want to say 21st. I'm not sure. He was here for a whole 3 weeks. And we had a honeymoon. I've never had a honeymoon, like, we were in the space of like being on a honeymoon. It was absolutely beautiful, and spending 3 weeks with someone in a one-room tiny shed is definitely enough time to know that he is absolutely 100% the one. I did not want to leave his side. He did not want to leave my side. Whenever we would go for walks on our own, either it's like just because beautiful day, or if I needed to go out and contemplate something, I never actually stayed out for very long. I never finished the walk. It's like, no, I just want to be by him. You know what? Whatever I need to contemplate, we'll work through together. And we did. You know, he he was fine with giving me my space, and I'm finding I don't want space. And I think that is such a huge indicator of true love. I wasn't sure how, this is a little weird too, I wasn't sure how I would know when I had fallen in love. You know, because matters of the heart are very serious, and because of the really difficult, painful relationships I've been in, I didn't want to go through exploring yet another relationship, seeing where it went, and is this love or is this not love? I'm like, oh, you know, all that is, I'm so tired of that dynamic and that energy. I just want to know, and I just want to be in love. And wow, did love ever just sweep me off my feet. I feel such deep care, love, affection. I cherish Viking, you know. I genuinely want to take care of him. I want to hold him. I want to walk by his side. I want to help him, help us be successful in whatever endeavors we decide to do. I want to be his. He listens to me. That's a huge, huge thing. I've never been listened to before, you know? I have never been allowed to talk, to fully speak, to express myself fully and completely. And I've also never been talked to, you know, no one has actually ever shared their entire being with me. It goes both ways, you know. I fully want to know Viking. Every part of him. And it's easy to be closed off, but he isn't. I feel respected by him. I feel cherished by him. I know that if there's a problem, he is going to come to me, because he does. Every single time. Every single time. And no, it's not easy, just because we are deeply in love with each other and have a pure love, silly in love. That doesn't mean that we don't have problems. We still have problems, and we still need to work on them. But something that makes us different than a lot of couples is we sit down and we hash it out. And we hash it out until things are cleared. And you know when things are cleared, because that little niggling finally goes away, or the ache in your heart goes away. Or you can sit and smile at each other or giggle again. The energy just lifts. Until the energy lifts, it's not actually truly cleared, you know? I feel like he really wants me to be my best, and he is encouraging me, and sometimes almost pushes me. Like, Blue, you got to empower yourself. You know, Blue, you can do better, you know? And he's helping me figure out the tools and the ways to empower myself and to be better. He's teaching me so much, and he's patient, and he's kind, and he's caring. You know, he has given himself to me so fully. It's really something else. Our souls absolutely fit together. Our human sides, we also fit really well together. You know, we're compatible. We're so compatible, and we really feel like we both complete each other, and we're really feeling the ache of being apart. So he came for a 3-week visit, and I brought him back to the airport last week, and oh man, that was brutal. And now I feel like 90% of me is missing. I'm not feeling like half of me is missing. I'm feeling like 90% of me is missing. I'm like, how am I going to cope? Because we have no idea when he'll be back, you know? You can't just move to another country spontaneously. So we are both feeling the ache of that, and the longing to be together fully and completely and forever. So what did it take for me to get here? Because everyone wants true love. Everyone wants to fall in love and have their happily ever after. So what did it take for me to get here? Because I'm not special. I have a human self and a soul just like you do. It takes facing yourself. It takes doing the shadow work. It takes digging into everything that you want to desperately hide from yourself, from others, from all that is. It took me years and years of intense self-exploration and working on myself to get here. But it's possible. It's totally possible, you know? If you've been with me for a while now, you know that I turned 20 in the psych ward, and I was just an absolute basket case till I was about 33. That's not all that long ago. That's only 12 years ago. It takes facing the lessons that are presented to you, because if you don't face them, guess what? They're just going to keep coming round and round and round. If I had not faced the lessons that my previous partners had offered me, I'd still be in shitty relationships until I either decided, oh, that's just my sled. They're like, oh, it's my sled. I would be in shitty relationships until I decided, okay, I'm either going to be single. That's not actually learning the lesson, and the lesson will come to you in different ways, or would have come to me in different ways. Or I would have said, just enough of this, I want to learn. And I would have been presented different opportunities. You can't run from what you have decided to learn in this lifetime, okay? You might never learn it. Most people don't. But you can't actually get away from it, and you're just going to keep on the same old path of suffering, misery, chaos, and destruction. And I said, fuck that shit. And I have clawed my way up so many mountains, you know, till I was like raw and battered and bloodied. But I never gave up, you know. For years it felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. But I never gave up. And now here I am with the most beautiful man, you know. In love. My soul is complete. Human feels complete. We are going to do amazing things together. Him and I, Viking and I got no doubt about it. It's already starting. So come along with us on our journey. We're here to help humanity. We're in such a dark time right now, and our mission is to help raise the light, to help the animals, to help Mother Nature, to help people. So if you resonate with this, you can subscribe to our channels. We have two others. Viking has a channel called Short Paul Viking, where he posts pictures of his two little Jack Russell Terriers and also videos of his backpacking trips. He's been to the Himalayas and the Artic, and he's backpacked in Ireland and other places. He also does survival drills and stuff like that. And I will be posting videos of my four leggeds on there. And we're talking about doing lives on that channel where you can just watch our four leggeds, watch them sleep, watch them play. Just lighthearted, pure goodness. And then I have a channel called Blue-Eyed Forest Soul, where I just talk like this about my journey. I show different. I live a really rustic lifestyle, almost off-grid in a one-room shed, wood heat, dry cabin outhouse, So I make videos about my life here. I live in absolute spectacular nature, so I go out and about exploring the lakes and things like that, go for walks. And then this channel might not completely get going until Viking gets back, but we want to be teaching survival skills. He's going to teach me what he knows, teach all things about diet, exercise, healing, how to be a well-rounded, balanced person. So you can follow us on those 3 channels. They're all going to be in the description. And if you want to buy us a tea and a biscuit, because I love my tea and Viking loves his biscuits because he's an Englishman, you can do that and you can buy us a coffee. Later.